Welcome into the first episode of Tavern Takes, the podcast form. Search us on Facebook, Tavern Takes, and X, as you can see on my screen name here, at Tavern Takes. Um, Hopefully, this is the first of many podcasts, but we'll see how motivated I actually am to stick to this time. Um, I could think of no better way to start this podcasting journey than with my good buddy Will here, who is our group chat's resident Miami fan. And with the Jimmy Butler mess going on, I thought it would be perfect to have him on and kind of go from there. So, Will, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. As Cole mentioned, lifelong Miami fan. Every Miami sport, unfortunately. Dolphins, Heat. I don't know about the Marlins anymore. I think I'm a baseball free agent, but any Miami sport, I'm your man. Some call me Poppy, some call me Will. My handle, Unclepapi26. Did you want me to start going right into Jimmy, or what do you want? How do you
Nah,
want
I
to do this?
got you. I got you right now. So let's talk about this wonderful situation the Heat have themselves in. Where do you think this all went wrong? I know we kind of discussed before we hopped on here the whole not trading for stars situation, or is it the money, or is it what do you think it exactly was?
I think it's a little bit of all of it, right? So, I mean, everybody talks about the eight seed. Everybody fears the Heat. A bunch of undrafted guys. Jimmy carrying the torch, dragging us to two finals, 2 and 3 years. I mean, we've been in the finals more than any other team the last 10 years. It feels like, but we just haven't won there, and that can frustrate anybody when you just that short. I mean, we're Max Struess stepping out of bounds, Jimmy Butler missing the three from anything happening. So I think it's a little bit of everything. I think it started with missing at all the stars. I mean, we can name them: KD, Dame, going all the way back to before the Bucks won their championship. Drew, it was rumored to go into Miami. It's a swing and miss. I think it's a little bit of frustration from Jimmy where he thinks that the front office hasn't done enough, and the front office thought they had enough, and now it's getting to the point where Jimmy's 36, he wants more money, and the Heat are basically telling him you have to play or you're not going to get your money. And Jimmy said, you know what, I've done this. How much more do you need me to do for you? I carried you for the last 6 seasons, and he wants his money. And I don't know. I think it's tampering, but some other people don't. However, we'll call it whatever you want to call it. Jimmy thinks he can get paid in Phoenix. I don't know how he knows that, but he thinks he can get paid in Phoenix. Doesn't think he could do it anywhere else. So he wants out. He only wants a few teams, but it's at the end of the day, I think it's about money. He could say it's about winning, but when you're going from a losing team in the East to another losing team with the worst record in the West, tougher
The 10
conference,
the 10 seed in the West.
it's hard to argue that winning is your number one priority. Yeah, you're playing with Durant and Booker, but how have the last big threes that Durant has been around done?
Well, they
They
all
have.
end up losing because no one stays healthy. But
I mean, it stays healthy or they just lose because injuries happen. You
you're
can't
not
you can't
wrong.
say you can't say injury. Like if we're talking injuries, that he should have too much championships. So it's not about that. An L is an L. Nobody cares. Nobody cares, and I don't. Durant hasn't gotten it done, and the big three has it. So it's hard. It's hard to be okay with the guy saying he wants to win when it doesn't show. Because if he really wanted to win, he'd go to Memphis. Memphis has the best offer for him. He can go there for a rental, go and play for a year, opt out, and then go where he wants to go. But it's not about that. He wants the max. He wants the super max, and he wants his cake and attitude. He wants to go to Phoenix. So that's kind of where we're at. I think Pat calling him out in the offseason. I don't know if you saw anything on that in his press conference at the end of the last season. He called out Tyler. Tyler's played like an all-star this year. He's doing great. He got called out on that, but he also called out Jimmy. Jimmy decided to play to get angry and just instead of it's worked in the past. Like Pat's done this. He did it to D-Wade. He did it to Shaq. He just calls you out if you're not playing well. That's he's the Godfather, as we call him down there. And when he calls you out, you listen. And Jimmy's not about that. Jimmy's about money. And unfortunately, we thought that Jimmy found a home in Miami because I was telling my wife this is like Jimmy's an asshole. Jimmy's a special type of dude, but he's our asshole. And I for 6 seasons I died for that man. But he quit on the team. You watch the tapes of his last 4 games and he's dogging it. There's a stat that came out that he had 76 possessions and in all those possessions I think he shot like 10 times. It was an absurd number. So he's playing, but he's not involved. He'll sit in the corner. The only way that he'll actually get involved in the offense lately is he brings the ball up and it ends up in a pass. So it's sad that it's ending this way, but it's one of those things that we faced it with Wade. We faced it with Shaq. Aging star. I feel like the Heat need to take a direction, and I think they chosen to go young, and Jimmy doesn't fit in those plans. And at $50 million a year in a team that's already overpaying for Bam, it's tough. It's tough. So
you brought up Memphis, and I guess this is my lack of research, but what were they offering? Because the last I had heard about anything in Memphis, and I know he said he won't re-sign there, so don't trade for me, whatever. But was Bane JJJ or obviously not Ja, but
no,
who was it?
The market is. We'd be lucky if we get some like Brandon Clark, maybe a young
They're
guy.
Gonna have a guard.
A young guy. Jalen, I forget his name. It was like it's a rookie they got. He's pretty good, and then probably a salary filler and like
picks.
Marcus Smart and something, and then picks. That's the one that I saw. Well, the Heat really want some cap flexibility, and having Clark and Smart gives them that. Any package from any other team will require the Heat to commit past 2026, and the Heat don't really want to do that for whatever reason. I like they haven't learned. Like I said, I just named 6 superstars that they tried getting, and they got none of them. And they think that they're going to be able to come in 2026 and Luka Doncic. That's the goal. That's what they think. So for whatever reason, I think it's Luka, Trae Young, and there's another guy. De'Aaron Fox are the headliners there for 2026 draft, and they think they have a shot at one of those, but if history repeats itself, it's not looking very good for us. So personally, I think they've done very well in the draft. I'm still in the coping phase, so don't take anything I say to heart here, but I think it's time for the team to pivot. They've done well in the draft, and I think that's just the way to go. In this new CBA, that it's hard to go big fish to fishing. It just limits you so much in the amount. Before you were able to just make sense of the cap, work it out here and there, but there's so much restrictions now in the Bucks are in the second apron. It makes it hard.
Yeah,
makes it hard to do anything, and that's kind of the NBA environment we're living in. That's why you haven't seen these many trades. From what I hear, is everybody's trying to see how the Heat are going to handle this Jimmy Butler situation, because that's going to end up in like a 5-team trade if anything happens, because it's so tough. And that's why I think it's taking so long.
Yeah, they're gonna have to come up with something. And if I'm Miami, I know you mentioned this in the chat, but you got about just letting it play out and see what happens. But you got to get something, dude. I don't care if it's like Miami's gotta get something. Like, if he's gonna play the way if he's gonna play the way,
send him home.
Yeah, but then you get nothing out of it, and he just
No,
opts
you
out
don't.
and leaves, dude.
Good.
So what do you
I hope so. Okay, if he opts out, you know what his only option is. If he opts out,
what?
Brooklyn.
Why is Brooklyn his only? Oh, because they're the only ones that'll pay.
They're the only team. They're the only team with cap space. They're the only team.
Detroit's got a lot of cap space.
They're the Brooklyn is the only team that's gonna have enough cap space to give Jimmy his max. With
you think you really think the max is a deal breaker?
Absolutely. This is all about money. It's all about money. It's not about winning. It's about money.
I mean, I get it's not about winning necessarily, but I think he would be willing to sign with a Detroit for a little less money, for a little more chance to win than Brooklyn.
If he was willing to truly go anywhere, he would have been traded already. But he's not.
You think he'd
wants to go to one place? He would have been in Memphis. He has said he only wants to go to Phoenix. Brian, just look up Brian Windhorst. He said multiple times, Jimmy's focused on one thing and one thing only: getting traded from the Miami Heat to the Phoenix Suns. That's what he said.
You think Ishbia is gonna friggin' pay that man? You think they'll pay him?
Jimmy thinks so. I wouldn't, but Jimmy thinks so.
A 35-year-old aging vet, I wouldn't give
36.
Anything. Then again, he's 36. I for a long time was hoping the Bucks, secretly sitting, not saying much in our group chat, kind of hoping they would trade for him because I thought it gave us a good chance this year.
Jimmy Butler's a dog, man. Jimmy Butler's a dog. If he's engaged, Jimmy is like, man, he's good. He'll be 36 at the start of next season. So he's 35 right now.
The thing is, the Bucks are in win now too, and not to shift this away from Miami, but
if I'm the Bucks, I'm
Zach LaVine. Oh, bro,
you're telling me like you would.
I want Zach LaVine way more than Jimmy Butler. Not even close.
So Zach LaVine's contract locked. Not only does Zach LaVine's contract just shaft you for the next 3 seasons, he is. He doesn't stay healthy. He doesn't stay healthy.
Jimmy doesn't play half the year. He
plays in the playoffs. He shows up in the playoffs.
Zach LaVine hasn't had the opportunity to show up in the playoffs because his team sucks.
Because he's awful. He doesn't play defense. The Bucks need perimeter defense. Zach LaVine does not help that.
Nah, that's why they start Andre Jackson.
And it's fine in the regular season, but in the playoffs, when they're only playing 6-7 guys, Andre Jackson's going to get torched. He might be good on defense, but Andre Jackson's going to be such they're just going to just load up on Dame and Giannis, and then they're going to leave everybody else. And you're going to hope that ugly-ass shot goes in. Because I watched that yesterday. That thing is worse than mine. That is a broken jumper, man. It's horrible.
So athletic, though. If he could just develop
a jump shot. Oh,
he's a jump shot.
I'm going to keep it PG.
Jump shot.
Go ahead. Yeah. If my uncle and my aunt had a what, she'd be my uncle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, if my aunt had an art, she'd be my uncle. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I hope. I mean, that I don't think he can help that. That's Sean Marion-esque. It's like
it is bad.
Ugly.
That
thing is ugly. Bad. He hit 2 yesterday, though. I think he hit. I'm pretty sure he hit 2 yesterday.
That's the thing. If he can shoot like 30%.
In the regular season is fine. But in the playoffs, when lineup, the Bucks just aren't deep enough, and I don't think Andre Jackson is a solution for you, and I really don't think.
He's not
or Beal or Beal. I feel like the Bucks are role players. You need big time role players. I think
Bradley Beal. I wouldn't trade a bag of freaking Lay's potato chips for Bradley Beal.
I think if I'm the Bucks, I I am trying to do everything I can for high level role players. That is the best way.
Bradley Beal.
I just don't think going 3 superstars is the way anymore. I think just with the CBA, the way it's structured is teams you're not deep enough. You need to be.
Go ahead.
I think what I'm saying is I think 2 stars and a bunch of high level role players, a couple guys, two big stars making 50, and then you get 2 guys making 20 each. Those are, and then another making 10, and then a rookie here and there, and then a couple mid-level guys. And I think that's the best way to build a roster now. I don't know how teams will do it with 3 superstars. It's too tough in the playoffs when lineups get tough. It's just, I don't know. I like what the Celtics are doing. I can't stand that team, but they just keep coming. Like you think
they're not playing well right now.
They're not playing well, but in the playoffs, man, their style of basketball play.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
They play defense. They hit threes. I always think they're front runners, but when they just start off hot and never lose the lead, it's hard to beat them.
Yeah.
So
here's the thing. Here's the thing as a Bucks fan, and I love Chris Middleton. Obviously, he helped us win a championship. But when we're sitting here talking about
peace to Miami.
But when we're sitting here talking about the whole 3-star thing, if I can get out of a Chris Middleton contract right now to bring in Zach LaVine in a heartbeat, I'm not thinking twice. And, this got put in our group chat, and you said something, and our good buddy Jordan, of course, said something as well.
That's right.
If Bobby Portis is the holdup to keep you from getting Zach LaVine, you're out of your mind. I'm sorry. Dude's a top 30 player in the league right now. You, bro.
Offensively.
Look at his stats.
Offensively, yeah. He's not a complete player. The way I look at it is
he's
you get Zach LaVine, he's taking the ball away from Damian Giannis. And that's a problem.
Yeah, but what is Chris Middleton bringing? I'm sorry. What is Chris bringing?
Chris Middleton? Man, come on, bro. I'm the biggest. I'm the biggest K-Mid hater.
Biggest K-Mid hater on this side of the Mississippi.
You know that I cannot stand Chris Middleton. Well, let me rephrase. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's a star.
Start him.
I don't think he's a star. His defense has regressed a ton. It wasn't great to begin with, but his defense hasn't been good.
That I don't agree with. He was a good defender.
He was above average.
Now it's bad. Yeah,
but that man's a bucket, and he doesn't need the ball. But when you give him the ball, that man's a bucket. In the playoffs, crunch time, that money. I don't know, man. Maybe his PTSD over how many shots he's hit on the Heat that I respect the man, but as just a bucket, I think Chris Middleton in that role is fine. Now, does he bring more value to the Bucks as a trade chip? Yeah, absolutely. His contract is easily tradable, and I think you can get 1 or 2 pieces back that I think will fit better with this Bucks team than Chris Middleton. Because I think that I don't think
LaVine's the answer. I'm sorry, LaVine's the answer.
No, he's not. I disagree there.
I think he makes some number.
I think it'd be a mistake.
I don't think it would be a mistake.
I think he makes them better. I think he makes them a better offense, but I don't think he makes them a title contender. Listen, I don't think he takes them past Boston. Let me rephrase. I don't think he takes them past Boston. And if he doesn't take you past Boston, why do you make the move?
I don't know that Jimmy does.
But Zach does. That's the end of this.
He's going to be healthy.
For one season. We're talking one season.
We're talking
one season. We're talking one season. He's healthy. One season. You're telling me that Zach LaVine doesn't move the needle more than Zach
LaVine moves the needle more.
You're telling me that Zach LaVine moves the needle more than Jimmy Butler.
That's a hot take.
Why I wanted to have you on tonight. I'm glad we're recording this. I'm glad we're recording this. This is what we're looking for.
Because I literally think LaVine moves it more. And look, I don't watch a whole lot of NBA.
I don't know.
I don't watch a whole lot of NBA.
I watched a lot of Zach LaVine to know that Jimmy Butler is they're that's a bad
Don't
take.
Get me wrong. Playoff Jimmy is a different thing.
That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about the regular season. They don't need anybody for the regular season. They're fine. They'll get in the playoffs. They need somebody.
When was the last time playoff Jimmy showed up?
Last year he was hurt. But the year before, I mean, he was hurt last year. So
2 years ago,
he was hurt last year.
I don't know. And this dates back to the whole. Do you remember in what it would have been 22, I think, at the trade deadline when all Bucks fans wanted Jay freaking Crowder because he played for Marquette, and the dude sat on his derriere for the whole first half of the season, and they came in out of shape.
What did they get Jay Crowder for? What did they get him for? What?
5 seconds?
That was nothing. The risk reward. You were right. If you wanted me to tell you that Cole was right about that. It wasn't a cold take.
That's not what I'm after here.
Cole was right about that.
My point is that Jimmy's been doing a lot of sitting right now. How long is it going to take to ramp him up?
He's healthy.
And get him ready to go.
He just played a game. The reason why he hasn't played is because he decided not to get on the team flight, and they suspended him 2 years because he missed team flight. But he's been playing. He looks good. Like when he's been engaged this season, he's looked really good. Like he looks good. Like he still has his burst. He still gets up there. His shot looks fine, good enough. He still gets to the rim at a high level. His finishing is a little bit down. I would say that, but he still gets fouled a shit ton, and he's a good free throw shooter. But I don't know. I can't get past past Zach LaVine. I think he's a good player, but at his contract, what it's going to cost you, probably the most expensive contract in the NBA right now. Him and Bradley Beal are a tit for tat on that.
They're not even close. Bradley Beal is atrocious. I mean, money-wise, they're close.
Money-wise, they're the same. But right, you're getting a better production than Zach LaVine. But Zach LaVine, I mean, you're talking injury history. I mean, Zach LaVine missed how many seasons already?
I mean, he was just hurt last year. It's really only been the 1 year.
1 year. Zach LaVine's missed a lot of time, dude.
Source trust me, bro? I was gonna say, are you looking it up? Because I was about to.
Yes, sir.
Because honestly, where I'm getting a lot of this from, and I won't lie,
dude. Yeah. Okay.
Bill Simmons.
2024. Oh my God. Don't get me started on Bill Simmons. We'll get there.
I love Bill.
2024, 40 games. Okay, he's played a lot of games this year. But then before that, 2023, 25 games. Then 77, 67, 58, 60, 63, and then 24. So he's missed what? Basically 2 seasons. And he's 29. And I think those two were big time knee injuries.
But how many of those seasons would he have been able to play in the playoffs for if his team didn't suck?
Yeah, Chicago sucks. But his contract, the contract is what the problem is. I mean, you're talking
dude's putting up. Oh, so Simmons again. Going back to the Bill Simmons podcast, but he was reading off his stats right now. Dude is I want to say right now he's shooting like 40+% as a spot up 3-point shooter. And his field goal percentage, I believe, is in the 60s as well. And like, you're asking this guy to be what number option on the Bucks? And he's, giving you this production.
But when was the last time he was
number one?
I don't know.
Last time he
won?
Expecting, is that what you're saying?
No, not even that. It's when I was going to say, when was the last time he wasn't the 1 or 2 option? That's an adjustment. It's you. Yeah, but you act like anybody can just be the 3rd option from being the dog and then go. Not everybody can do it, bro.
When you have
superstars, I've seen it.
When you have superstars like Giannis,
Hall of Fame players, and they struggled. They struggled to do it. Dwayne had to take a backseat to LeBron for them to win 2 championships.
Okay, But
Ego,
you gotta
ego,
hear me out.
egos,
Hear me out.
man, egos.
Hear me out. Giannis doesn't care about taking a back seat. That man will take a back seat.
Bullshit.
What do you mean, bull spit?
It's one thing to
He
say.
let Chris take over in the NBA Finals.
That's because he had to.
Games.
That's because he had to.
That's because you can't make me believe Giannis has that ego.
Good off the dribble like that. He's better off the pick and roll. Remember that championship year? They were unstoppable in that pick and roll with K-Mid and Giannis. It'd be stupid not to run that.
They spammed that because Phoenix couldn't build a wall because DeAndre Ayton was – well, when you're Dario Saric going out, getting hurt in that playoffs screwed them because Frank Kaminsky was their backup center. And don't get me wrong, I love me some Frank Kaminsky, but if you're asking that man to give you finals minutes, you're screwed.
I know. I had to watch.
Different story.
I had to watch Cody Zeller kill us in the finals. The worst 4 minutes of the NBA's final history. So I understand how bad it is to have a bad backup center. So yes, I understand.
All right.
I don't know. I don't think Zach LaVine is that much of a difference maker, and I don't think that Giannis would or should take a backseat to Zach LaVine. It just, I don't know. I think for $50 million a year, the Bucks would be better off getting a couple high level.
He's making 50.
He's making
really.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at his contract. Yeah, dude. He's making. I think it might be like 48, but pretty close to it. Yeah. So this year he's making 43. Next year he's making 45. Yeah. The year after he has a player option for 48.
48. Yeah, I'm looking. So
you're committed to him for at least around $150 million on a team that's already in the second apron.
Yeah, but here's the deal. I don't know. He gives you a better chance than Chris does. That's kind of where I'm at. And like, at least if you trade for him, you get a couple years of Giannis, Zach, and Dame. Whereas if you trade for Jimmy,
and that's it. That's all you got.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if I trade for Jimmy, I get like 3 months of him, and he's probably walking out the door because the Bucks are.
You get cap flex. You get cap flexibility though. You go under the second apron and you're able to make moves. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of where I'm at with the Heat. Like everybody's like, well, trade him. No, send his ass home. Take the cap flexibility. Rebuild. That's the way
you could get then trade for an expiring. That's what you should do.
But he only wants to get traded to Phoenix. That's the problem. Phoenix
does he have a no trade clause?
No, but
he's send him wherever the hell he deserves to go.
You can't do that. That's the problem. Like it doesn't work like that. If it were me, I'd send his ass to Memphis. That's where I think he should go. But
I just don't understand why Memphis.
Because Memphis is the easiest place for them to trade. They're under the second apron. They can have multiple players trade, and they're a good team. It just makes sense. And the team has to want Jimmy, and Memphis wants Jimmy. And the other team is Phoenix, and Phoenix, the only asset Phoenix has is Bradley Beal. That's all they got. So, and Phoenix is over the second apron as well, and they can only do 1-for-1. So,
for Bradley Beal, I'm no longer a Bucks fan.
God, you're lying. I don't think Bradley Beal is a good option.
He's garbage. He's terrible.
I don't think he's a good option. I think the Bucks need a perimeter defender and another big, an athletic big.
Bradley Beal's going to come in and do that?
No. I don't think. I told you I don't think he's an option. If I'm the Bucks, if I can't get Jimmy, I'm staying out of it. I'm staying out of it unless the Bucks can find a way to get some role player. We'll agree to disagree there, man.
We ain't gonna agree to disagree because Zach LaVine, baby, gonna be a Milwaukee Buck.
As long as hey, how about this? You can get Zach LaVine as long as the Heat end up in a good spot cap wise. And honestly, I don't like K-Mid, but if we get him and it means cap flexibility for us, cool. I want to lose anyway. It's the Heat have never tanked, but I feel like this is the perfect time for it. Cooper 2025, baby.
Cooper flag. All right, we're going to take a little pause here in the podcast, and we will be right back. All right, and we're back. So we're going to talk little trade machine, hypothetical trades here. So I'll lead off because, again, we're going to go back to the old Bill Simmons podcast as I was just listening to it on the way home from work today. And him and Kevin O'Connor just throwing out some wild trades.
They threw a good one. I think I saw that. They threw I think it ended up, I think it was like K-Mid. Was that the one you're talking about with Kevin O'Connor?
Is that the one we put in our group chat where it was like the Pistons are in there? Because you guys get Beal ends up. Go ahead.
Beal and picks. So, but it was Butler to the Suns, Beal and picks to the Bulls, which is stupid. But Bucks get Levine. Heat get Connaughton and Middleton, my two favorite players, and picks.
Patty C.
And Pistons get Portis. And then my Heat beat that I like, my Heat Discord responds with they don't think Connaughton and Portis would work out, but
yeah, no crap, they suck. Well, okay, Bobby doesn't suck. Pat does.
Yeah,
Pat's basically unplayable.
I personally think if that's the scenario that we're getting, keep Jimmy.
You're okay with that? You're okay with that?
No, I'm saying keep Jimmy. Keep Jimmy.
I'd say I was a Miami fan
or give me Beal and all the picks. Give me Bill and all the picks at that point. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't blame you for not like. I wouldn't like that as a Miami fan either, to be honest with
you. I think the best case scenario is a Memphis trade. I'm trying to look for one right now that I thought was good. I had a couple in the Discord that I put up.
While you're looking,
there's this one. And it's the Heat get Bruce Brown, Marcus Smart, Jalen. That's the guy I was telling you about. Jalen Wells, who's a pretty good shooting guard. 2 first-round picks from Memphis, 25, which we want a 25, and a 27. The Grizzlies get Jimmy Butler and Haywood Highsmith, who I really like. And then the Raptors get Brandon Clark and Luke Kennard. That's a good trade in my mind.
Yeah, that'd be. For the life of me, real quick, back to the Jimmy thing. Why would you not want to go to Memphis?
That's because it's not about winning.
I don't understand.
It's about the money. It's money. Because he wants to go to the Suns and the Suns being able to give him the Supermax.
Hold on. Wait, okay, so if he walks, he can't get a Supermax from anywhere else?
Nope.
Okay, now this makes sense. Now this makes a lot more sense.
Brooklyn. If he opts out at the end of the season, the only way if he opts out, he won't get the Supermax. He can get a lot of money, but it's from Brooklyn. If the only way that he's able to get a Supermax is if he opts in, and then the Heat can trade. It actually is smart. It's the best case scenario for everybody involved is to wait till the offseason, because in the offseason, there's about 10 teams. There's about 10 teams that are able to give them the Supermax and make the trades. Right now, there isn't anybody. There isn't anybody other than Phoenix. So it's tough. The more I think about it, it would have been the best case scenario if the Heat would have Jimmy would have just shut up, played, opt in and had the Heat trade him on the offseason. I think that would have been the best thing to do, but that's not happening. But looking at the trade machine, the one that I told you was the best one that I like. I like for the Heat that I've seen. But it's basically Brandon Clark and Marcus Smart and first round picks. That's the best I've seen as far as the trade offers to Miami, at least.
In non-Jimmy Butler related trades, and honestly, we kind of talked about Bucks are going to do anything other than Butler or Levine.
I saw this
think?
one. I saw
You
this
got
one.
one?
It's still in that. It's Jimmy in a first round pick to the Bucks. I don't know how this one makes sense. Came in and Butler to the Heat. Came in and Portis in a first round pick to the Heat. And then Pat goes to the Wizard, and then the Thunder get the 2030 first round pick for the Bucks. That doesn't make sense. These are just random ones.
So what? Pat's the I don't know. Pat's the chip that has to get moved right now. Like that's the big thing. Like if the Bucks can't move Pat, if they can't find someone to take Pat's contract, they're not making any moves. Like someone's got to take.
What's his contract like?
His contract's not even that bad, but
it's a good contract. It's 2 years, $9 million.
It's the second apron thing, dude.
Yeah,
he's the piece they're willing to move off of to get out of the second apron. That's
an easy one.
That's why Pat. It is, but you got to find someone who's willing to take it, and someone's not just going to take it. Someone's going to want something.
You just send them to Charlotte or the Wizards. Just send them to Charlotte or the Wizards, the dumpster of the NBA.
Guess what? We ain't got no seconds.
Yeah.
JF and Crowder.
Yeah.
So in non-Bucks and Heat trades, where do we think Cam Johnson ends up?
Dude, it's tough because it's really tough because I'd like him to end up in OKC. They have everything, and he'd fit great there. But do they need another wing? You know, but he brings some playoff experience.
What are they going to? They want, because.
And they have. I mean, OKC has a bunch of picks.
Yeah, can they absorb his contract, or do they got to throw fillers back?
They can probably absorb. They probably. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I haven't labbed that one, but I can see OKC
lands Cam Johnson. I mean, they're already a squad. If Chet Holmgren comes back, and plays like Chet Holmgren can, I mean, they're already what? Are they the best record in the NBA right now? First or second? One of the two? Without Chet Holmgren?
Cleveland. I think maybe them or Cleveland.
But they're close.
Yeah, it's really close. So Cleveland has 36 wins. Yeah, no, they're both 36-8. But I mean, OKC is the better.
Without Chet Holmgren.
Yeah, they blew.
Let's throw that little caveat in there.
Yeah, and OKC blew them out.
Without I'd say Chet's probably their second best player. Third, if you want to give Jalen Williams that nod at 2. But either way.
He's a good player, man. I like Lou Dort. I love Lou Dort.
Good old Lou Dort.
Dude, I love that guy.
The Dort chamber.
Dude, you know, there's players that I think would just be perfect Heat players. I think Lou Dort would be a perfect Heat player.
Because
you know who else?
Dude,
you know who else?
Clamps on D.
You know, this is another thing that I like. I don't really want K-Mid on the Heat, but
he's a good culture guy.
I'd love to have Bobby Portis, man. I love Bobby Portis.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, bro, I'd be
a great culture guy.
I love those guys. So
it's a great culture guy. And honestly, if you guys, dude, is Bobby Portis maybe the best player you could get? Not like a straight up trade or anything like that, but like in terms of like actual deals being thrown around. I mean, Bobby can get you 30 on any given night.
Yeah, Bobby.
You guys got 30. The rest.
Bobby will get you. No, our defense is that. Bobby, the Heat are just a bad team this year. Man, I've never watched this bad of a basketball. Watching the Heat, it's been a long time since I've watched bad basketball in Miami. It's not good right now. That product's not good. Bobby Portis might put up 30 though, but you know that man's a chair. That man's gonna also give up 30. He's Bobby Butler. He's also Bobby Chair. Yeah, he's not. He'll get your rebounds, but he's gonna give up some buckets. Bobby don't move well.
So let's end this with let's kind of move off of it unless you got any other hypotheticals here. We'll end with I thought we'd end with a hot take or two about the
You
NBA.
gave us one already, but that's just
Good old Zach LaVine.
You always brewing them up. I don't know about that one.
Hashtag cold takes.
My hot take. I'll start. My hot take
go
is the New York Knicks do not make it out of the first round.
So what are they? The 3 seed right now?
They're the 3 seed right now. Yeah. So they'd be
Who's
playing
the 6? Pacers. I think it's the Pacers.
Yeah.
Talk about front runners.
Yeah. Halliburton put on a show in Miami though.
I don't hate that take. I just think it can't be Indiana because I think they'd handle Indiana. I think someone else needs to slide into that 6.
I think the Bucks will pass them. I think the Bucks might end up in 3. They'll probably.
You think they're going to pass the Knicks?
Yeah. They'll probably go 4, right? So the Knicks will probably be 4th. And then who do they match up on the 4? Is it 4-5?
Yeah, 4-5. 3-6, 4-5, 2-7, 1-8.
So then that would be Indiana right now. I like Orlando, dude. If Paolo,
I do too.
If Paolo can get back, Franz Wagner, they're a good defense. They play defense.
Bro,
they're one of the only teams that play them in OKC, man. They're those guys guard. And nobody guards in the NBA right now.
Yeah, but low key too, like half that roster's dead. And they were still winning games. Yeah. Like, bro, they were trotting out Jalen Suggs as their number 1 scoring option and winning games. Franz Wagner, not Mo, Franz, was putting like 18 up a night. Like, dude, that is insane. And they're going to get Paolo back, and they're going to get Mo back. And I think Isaac is back. Isaac is back already, right?
Or he's going to get hurt, too. He's going to get hurt.
Yeah,
if he's back, he's going to get hurt.
Walking hospital. Yeah. But either way, I screw with Orlando, man. I like Orlando.
I think they're a good team. I think they're a good team. I you know what? I like them because they can defend. I still think they need another player. It's another place that I'd like Cam Johnson to.
Oh, yeah.
Scorer, good defender, and they have the assets, but. I like Orlando. I think they can guard well. But that's my hot take. I don't like the Knicks. I can't stand the Knicks. I think Cat sucks. I don't think he has a good mentality.
Hey,
I think
some respect on that all-star starter's name.
Get out of here. That's terrible, man. LaMelo Ball was leading. LaMelo Ball was going to be one of the NBA's. I would puke if that happened. But going back to Cat, I don't know, man. I think Tibbs is gonna run them out. They're gonna be tired by the time the NBA playoffs comes around. Yeah, Jalen Brunson's too small to be your number 1 option
all game.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna kill them. They're a good team. They have the makings to be a good team. I just can't stand New York. So I that's my hot take. I don't think they'll do well.
My hot take is not necessarily. It's not necessarily an in-season this year hot take, but it's the next off season. Philly blows it up.
Flag in Miami. Oh yeah, I thought Jamie was going to go to Philly.
By it blows it up. I mean they trade Embiid. I think they tear that crap down all the way to the studs minus Jared McCain and Tyrese Maxey.
You got to keep Maxey and McCain.
Besides Maxey and McCain. But then again, that's a really small backcourt.
How about Jimmy ends up in Phoenix and then Phoenix trades Booker for Embiid. And then
Jimmy Durant for Embiid. Yeah, that was the Bill Simmons one that we were talking about.
Really?
It was Embiid ends up in Phoenix. Durant ends up in
Miami.
Yes. Yeah. No. That's what it was. It was Durant ends up in Miami, and Beal ends up in
Taiwan.
Beal, China, where he belongs. No. Beal ends up in
Philippines. So just
Christ, Philly.
I don't see that happening.
Embiid,
Embiid and Jimmy want to play again. So yeah, Embiid and Jimmy want to play again. So
could you imagine?
Honestly, Cole, I was expecting more heat from you, bro. I was expecting like a hot hot take, like hot off the press, and that one isn't very hot. I agree. I don't know. I don't know how Philadelphia keeps
I
doing
kind of
it.
gave you my hot take, honestly.
Yeah, and that was that one is hot off the press. But
the main hot take is that I think Zach LaVine fits Milwaukee better and is a better situation. I think it's better for Milwaukee to get Zach LaVine than Jimmy Butler. That's my hot. I mean, I don't think it gets any hotter than that. And I don't know why. Like, I mean, I've given you some reasons, and I get playoff Jimmy. I think it's because LaVine's only like 28, and I think the
29.
appealing side, 29. I think the appealing side of LaVine to me is like, okay, so we trade for Jimmy, right? And like I said before, you get him for 3 months, and he's not going to re-sign with us. Like you said, he's after that money. So at least if you trade for LaVine, at least you have 3 superstars for however many years Giannis is going to stay around
And you're
before
gonna
we
end up
inevitably
being death by
trade
the
him.
apron. And you end up in death by the apron.
Yeah,
You're not
well,
gonna be able to build a team.
congratulations. We're already in death by the apron.
No, but you can get out of it. You can trade. If you have 3 guys making $50 million a year, you're not getting out the apron, bro. That's the new NBA. There's no 3 stars. I think the Bucks right now have the perfect core. They just need 1 or 2 high-level role players that just do their fucking job, and I think they're gonna be just fine. Just fine. Who are those 2 or 3? Bruce Brown. I would love to see Bruce Brown. I think Bruce Brown would be much better on the Bucks than Zach LaVine. He's a great perimeter defender.
That's a hot take.
He can hit a shot. He's not going to cost you. He's not going to put you over this. He's going to give you cap flexibility. I think he has like 1 or 2 years left at like 20 million. So it fits perfectly with contracts with Bobby and I haven't labbed that, but I think they fit pretty well together. Bobby and Pat. So and Toronto said that they're open for business. So if I'm Milwaukee, I'm looking for role players because you already got any situation that ends up with Giannis and Dame not having the ball is not a good situation for the Bucks. So, you know, and another thing that you're not accounting for in LaVine is, can he play as the third guy? I don't know. He's always had the ball in his hands, and it wouldn't be a good situation for them to spot up Dame. No, you want Dame with the ball. You want that Giannis pick and roll with Dame. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he'd be a good. And I was surprised that he shoots that well as a catch and shoot. That's good, I guess.
Yeah,
but it's one thing to catch and shoot every once in a while because you're a rhythm and always have the ball, and then maybe going 4 or 5 without seeing the ball. Without seeing the ball, he could go 4 or 5 possessions without seeing the ball at all, and those catch and shoots aren't as easy. So there's a trade-off there. I don't know.
You could rotate those minutes, but you
can stagger them, but then you're hoping that you don't have a good coach. Let's be honest, it's Doc Rivers. But if
anyone associated with Marquette is not good at basketball.
Okay. That's how we end. That's how we end this episode. That's how we end this episode. I will not stand for any Marquette bashing here. We love Marquette.
All right, Will.
We are Marquette.
Where can they find you, buddy? Drop your socials other than, I don't know if your Instagram's the same, but
Unclepapi26. You can
on all forms.
Just look at you. Yeah, it's all Unclepapi26. Just look for me on Twitter. That's the only place I'm active, and on Tavern Takes. Hopefully we'll have more episodes to go, and Cole will have me as a guest.
Hey, if this editing goes well and this goes smoothly, I can't wait to talk more, buddy. Take it easy.
Take it easy.